This is The Basketball Show with Shane the Hammer Heel and Steve Mr. Magic Carfino. Brought to you by Unibet, TCL Plex, and News Corp. What they gonna say next?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Basketball Show. I'm Steve Carfino. First, before we get this bad boy started, let me thank the sponsors. Unibet, TCL Plex Smartphones, our partners, of course, News Corp Australia. TCL Plex Smartphones giveaway is still running for one more week. Get your name into the draw by sharing or retweeting The Basketball Show posts on Facebook and Twitter. Now it's time to introduce the man who sits on the desk with me, the man, let's go to this camera, the man who will never make an appearance on Dancing with the Stars, Shane, no rhythm, heel.
I've said no 3 times, and because I have no rhythm. You got to stay in your lane, know your strengths, and dancing and singing is not one.
All right. Well, you've been staying in your lane a little bit too much on Under the Hammer. You've been stroking everybody. I hardly know you. Who are you?
I'm trying to be nice, mate. But check out this press conference from Andre Lamanis when he was questioned about his imports.
So let me correct something that you said there in terms of not as much as what I want from them. That's like, that's come from somewhere else. All right, and that's, I don't know where that has come from, but definitely not from me. We have very good Australian talent, and the intent in recruiting our imports was to make our team the best it could be and not have someone come in and shoot 48 shots a night and try to get 100. And so in terms of that part of it, those guys are doing exactly what we want them to do. They come in, do you anyone watch Taylor's defense tonight? You guys watched that? And that was pretty special. He moves the ball, he sets screens, he plays for the good of the group. Again, I'm not sure what I'm missing here. That sort of stuff frustrates me, to be honest.
Is he serious?
Are you about to get the hammer out?
Is he serious? Mate, first, what about the reporter? How come the reporter didn't follow up? Andre's pissed.
Let's get to that, because that's an issue as well. I don't know if that's something that we're just going to jump on, but let's get to Andre Lamanis talking about he's not quite sure what he's missing.
He said
they've lost 3 straight.
They're doing exactly what he wants them to do.
Lose?
But they've lost 3 in a row, and it was really a 30-point game against the Kings. They were never in it. And the way this team's been constructed, and you have a look at their guards. So Sobey, Glidden and Kadee, we love them, but they had 1 assist between the 3 of them. And then you throw in Hodgson and Magnay. Magnay's going to be a superstar. We've spoken about him, Tarangi and Vicona. When you add their superstar Lamar Patterson in, and now you're looking for 2 players to be able to play a role. I agree, they don't need somebody coming in to get 30 shots a game. But that's not what we're questioning about. This team will finish in the bottom 3 or 4 if they don't make a change. Singler, he might be a decent player. Braun is probably a good player, but it's the wrong fit. They need an athletic 4-man. We've said it all the way along. And I like Andre, and Andre's a good coach. But the way he answered that question is like he has his head in the cloud, and he's always taken too long to make changes when he's got his recruiting wrong.
Very similar to the Sydney Kings and Ware.
Exactly the same as the Sydney Kings and Ware last year.
All right. Well, that's not the only team.
What about you?
What? What about me?
Carfino's call. What do you got? Are you going to stroke someone?
Yeah. No. I'm going to stroke someone a little bit later, but I got a call. I got a call right now. Carfino's call is not a stroke. It's Illawarra chemistry. I'm talking about chemistry down there. Some of their players should watch who they're sitting next to when they're sitting at a cafe, because they're talking about LaMelo Ball. Everything's about a highlight. Team chemistry. Guys are talking behind each other's back. Ooh, it could get ugly.
So the teammates weren't happy?
Teammates were not happy. Everything's about a highlight. It's not about making the easy pass. It's about a fancy one. It's all about showtime. And they've chalked up some losses, so could be in trouble down there. Could be in trouble down south.
It's a balance for him, though, isn't it? I mean, he's here to try and be in the top 5 draft picks. He's got to be able to get his stats as well, but they're trying to get some wins. So obviously a few feathers ruffled.
This is the Starting 5. Brought to you by TCL Plex Smartphones.
All right, let's roll right into TCL Plex Smartphones Starting 5. Shane, what have you got for me?
Number 1, Daniel Johnson, 300th game. We've got a positive. What a champion he's been. 4,263 points. He had 21 and 10 against the Hawks the other day. He has done that 22 times with 20 and 10 over those 300 games. He's been a dead set champion, and the Adelaide 36ers are very lucky to have him, and he's got another 100 in him.
You know who is lucky to have Tommy Greer, and that he's the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. I asked Tommy, I gave him a call late. It was late. It wasn't very polite of me. I gave him a call late and said, can you look after my daughter? She's in Melbourne. He popped 2 tickets on her. They were very good seats. My daughter was very impressed. She still loves her daddy. Tommy Greer not only looking after the old cats in the league, but he's doing a fantastic job for the Phoenix.
Well, with the last 8 seconds, can I just add that they did a great job bouncing back after having their pants pulled down against Perth.
Oh, right. Well, I was looking after my family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I know you, man. You got enough things on there. We got 5 of them. You got 3 of them. You're gonna just jump in on my 2.
You were 16 seconds, mate. All right. What do we got?
Talking about me going too long. Okay. What we got next? Shane, the Sydney Kings, didn't allow you to have an interview with Kevin Lish.
Hold on.
Is he playing? Is he playing?
No. Kevin Lish had nothing to do with it. I just want to get that straight away. But I see the Kings management sort of on Twitter and social media saying we need more publicity and more publicity. Well, it was set up that we were supposed to, with the NBL and the broadcast team, to do an interview with Kevin Lish. He's out for 8 weeks at halftime. But they cut it at the last minute, said he had to be inside listening to the coach talk at halftime, even though he was sitting on the bench. And that's where the NBL and some of the teams need to get a little bit better, because look after your own backyard before you ask for more help for publicity down from everyone else.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah, fair. And we need to know the personalities of this league. And every interview gives the players an opportunity to do that.
News come through. Brooks.
Oh, man. Whew, Aaron Brooks out for the year with an Achilles. Breaking news right there, but you heard it. You heard it before anybody.
I did. I heard it courtside. And Boone.
Yeah?
What about Boone?
They're just not even going to go with it. You heard it first? Because that, for me, I would really gloat. I'd be like, you know what? Nobody knew.
It was insider trading, I reckon, because I was down there trying. The Hawks wouldn't tell me anything, and I got information from somebody that was very close to it. It was Achilles. Hearts out to him. He's a champion player, but he is going to be so tough to be able to replace.
And what about Boone? What about Josh Boone?
Well,
He could be out.
Rumors.
Is it his nose or is it not?
Sure. I don't know.
You not know? You not saying?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's gone. Anyway, let's move on. Last one.
All right, last one. 1.9 million U.S. viewers. I tell you what. Maybe the Hawks teammates don't like it's showtime down in the Gong, but these U.S. viewers sure think so. 1.9 million.
RJ Hampton, LaMelo Ball, the Hawks versus the Breakers. How good is that internationally to get that sort of exposure? And full credit to the NBL. What they've done with the Next Stars program has just ticked the boxes. The money they've spent and now the money coming back in the back end. Great stuff.
Speaking of all that excitement with Prospect Watch, Shane, give it to us in 3, 2, 1.
All right, number 3, it's the duo. It's the Froling duo, because it was a week from today, so it was the last round, but we're going to count it anyway. Sam and Harry, 12 points for Sam, 5 from 7 from the field in only 18 minutes. And then his brother Harry, 15 points, 3 from 4 from the field in 15 minutes. Shane and Jenny Froling would be very proud. Both those kids have got a huge future.
Who's better?
Oh, yeah, that's tough.
I know.
Politically, I'm not going to say.
Which one's your favorite
No,
daughter?
they're both.
You have 3 daughters.
No,
Which one's your favorite?
Don't.
Yeah, okay. All right. So I guess
I got a
Mr. and
favourite dog.
Mrs. Froling can't do that either. Who's number 2?
Number 2, RJ Hampton. He, against Melbourne United, 14 points, 7 rebounds. It's 5 from 10 from the field, 22 minutes. That's a great test from him. I see his body type and he's smart. He's going to evolve into a very, very good NBA pro. He's so skinny at the moment, but did you see the athleticism on the block that he had against LaMelo Ball?
Yeah.
One of the first plays of the game against the Hawks. Outstanding, huge future, and he is number 2.
All right. Love the way a player responds after they get beaten, doesn't give up on the play. And I'm not giving up on who is number 1. You know, inquiring minds want to know, like myself.
Welcome to the number 1 spot for LaMelo Ball.
Dropping numbers.
16 points,
Boom.
10 rebounds, 7 assists. He was only 5 from 14 from the field, 2 from 5-3. That's where he's really struggled. But I'm starting to see some improvements, small improvements across the board for him. Defensively, still a long way to go, but he's improving. I think his decision making, you can see how his game is going to translate into the NBA. When he gets more space, he is so tough being able to get to the basket. Being 6'7", he's got the length as well to be able to find players with really good angles, a little bit like Joe Ingles. So he's a special talent. Lots of improvements to come, but for me, that was his best game of the season.
All right, there's the prospects. Now it's time to go to our courtside correspondents all around Australia. First up in WA is Nick Lakovich. Tell us about the Wildcats defense.
Yeah, hi guys, great to be back. Two big games for both programs, so let's jump straight into the Adelaide versus Taipan games Friday night, where the 36ers came away with a 4-point win, largely due to the fact of the even contribution of scorers from all 5 starters hitting double digits, as well as McVeigh off the bench. Telling stat line here, 26 for 28 from the foul line for the 36ers, critical in a 4-point win. Fast forward to Sunday, where they took on the Phoenix in Melbourne. Their inability to be able to guard the ball in transition, and more importantly, beyond the 3-point line, cost them a 10-point loss. Phoenix connecting on 15 threes. In fact, Adelaide are yet to hold a team under 90 points all season, and if they're to remain in the top 4, they're going to have to make some defensive adjustments. Wildcats 2 games, they took on the Phoenix on Friday night in the jungle in the Stronger in Pink contest. Well, a 31-point blowout, largely due to the fact of, and I'm telling you, instinctively, this Wildcats group, when dialed in defensively, are still the benchmark of the NBL. Damian Martin did a job on Robertson and Kay stepped up on Creek. Fast forward now to their Sunday game against the Illawarra Hawks. Can they close out the weekend with 2 wins? Well, yes, they can. Largely due to the fact they have the best big 3 in the NBL, Cotton, Kay and White. Not only defensively, but the ability to have shot makers down the stretch proved critical in this game, closing out a game against the Hawks, who fought with desperation. Looking forward to seeing how the Wildcats go up against a good test in the Breakers and the Bullets next weekend.
Well, the Wildcats, they were outstanding at home, weren't they? Not so much as good yesterday, but they're on track.
I know. And Adelaide, a little up and down right there, but Adelaide with Joey Wright and, of course, Jerome Randall, they're always going to have some exciting times.
They're always going to compete, so they're good. But let's get to D-Ruck. What's going on in Brisbane, mate?
Hey guys, happy Monday from Brisbane. Well, it wasn't a happy weekend for the Bullets as they dropped a big game down in Sydney to the Kings. Now, in the post-match press conference, Coach Andre Lamanis expressed frustration at all the talk about his highly scrutinized 2 imports, E.J. Singler and Taylor Braun. Now, he said there will be no changes, and if that's the case, it's time to make a change with the starting lineup. I put Jason Kadee in there as my starting point guard, and then I'd go with Sobey at the 2, Cam Glidden at the 3, Lamar Patterson at the 4, and either Will Magnay or Matt Hodgson at the 5. It's time to do something because the season, even though it's still early, things are looking a bit suspect for the Brisbane Bullets. The Cairns Taipans have a big one tonight. They take on Melbourne United. I think the Taipans are going to come out strong. They're getting 4.5 points at home. Take those 4.5. See you next week, guys.
Well, there you go, mate. He's sort of backing up a little bit what we've been saying for a couple of weeks, probably as surprised as what we are with the Brisbane Bullets.
I know. I'd like to see him in more of those press conferences. I was surprised that he wasn't the one that asked that question.
Because it was in Sydney. Yeah. We need to get him to Sydney.
Oh, man. Okay, yeah, that's dangerous. D-Ruck in Sydney. All right, well, this man's not in Sydney. He's in Melbourne. He has got those 2 hot Melbourne teams, and that's Paulo Kennedy.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Mr. Double-Double, Sean Long. He was massive in the second half on Saturday against New Zealand. 0 boards, finishing in traffic, drawing fouls on Brandon Ashley and getting him out of the game. He was the difference maker. But you know what? The more I watch him, the more he reminds me of a young Daniel Johnson defensively. He just really struggles to pick which side of the ball screen to defend. It took Adelaide a number of seasons to get DJ up to the level needed to be a contender in that area. Melbourne don't have that amount of time. But you know what? I found it really interesting watching Mitch McCarron defend the ball screen with Long. He was directing him around when he was involved. And that's where I think Melbourne missed Casper Ware. I think if they had McCarron and Ware directing Long, you could really speed up his progress. Whether they can get him to the level needed to be the anchor of a championship defence, I'm not sure. It's going to be a good test tonight in Cairns against Cam Oliver, who can roll and he can pop. In terms of the Phoenix, quickly, Friday night showed they are an expansion team. They came up short in Perth. But Sunday showed they're a really good expansion team. They're a definite playoff contender. They can make the postseason once Ty Wesley returns. But if they want to be anything more than a beaten semi-finalist, they've got to fix the defence, and that starts with the centre position.
Always so detailed, PK, talking about the pick and roll and what he sees in those details. Long's got a long way to go, but he can be a star if he continues to embrace the defensive philosophies.
It's time now for the Unibet game preview. Who's hot? Who's not?
All right.
And I've been on fire.
Okay.
I have been on fire.
I know.
I'm telling you.
I know. If you were a betting man. Yeah, I know.
Unibet, don't worry about that.
I tell you what, if I bet on something, it's a winner. No, I'm sorry. If I bet on something, it loses. But if I just suggest it, it's a winner.
Well, we'll watch out for it. Cairns at New Zealand. And Cairns have been really competitive. But I've been impressed with New Zealand considering they're only 1-3. I think they're going to have a decent sort of team. So many points they can put on the board when they get out and run. Very tough to stop, and particularly at home. So I'm going to go with New Zealand 11+.
New Zealand 11+ for me too. Okay, the Perth Wildcats at the Brisbane Bullets. And that's 7:30 on Friday. Who are you thinking? Brisbane.
Well, first of all, let's get more than 2,000 people than what Brisbane got in the last game.
I know they moved out of the library. You know, it's supposed to make a bit more noise in Brisbane when you go watch the games.
I'm just not convinced about the Brisbane Bullets right now. It's going to be tough for them to beat the Perth Wildcats. And while Perth have had some good wins, I don't think they're playing their best basketball, but they're still good enough and talented enough, and they've been together enough to be able to get wins at this time of the year. I'm going to go with Perth 1-10.
That's boring, but I'm going to do the same thing. I know, we're not just trying to disagree.
Right.
When we disagree enough, we don't have to disagree because of anything that we've planned. Melbourne United at Southeast Melbourne Phoenix on Saturday. It's the rumble in the southern jungle.
The bounce-back game for United. After losing to them on the opening night, they will win this game against Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. I think they'll only win 1-10. Still waiting for Casey Prather to get back. But you can see they're going to be a top 3 team, Melbourne United. Don't worry about their hiccup at the start of the year.
Okay, so you got Melbourne United.
1-10.
Oh, man.
There you go.
Okay, I'm the same.
Okay.
You see mine right here?
Good,
I don't know.
mate.
Don't
this
actually.
Is strength.
Don't look. I think you're copying me. I think you're copying me. Sydney Kings at the Adelaide 36ers, and we like that matchup. We like Jerome Randall against anybody.
Oh, yeah. But the Sydney Kings are on fire. There is no doubt that they are clearly better than any team in the competition at this stage of the year. They're balanced. They're in sync. They're playing a really good style. I like what they're doing, and I'm going to pick them 1-10. I think Adelaide will learn a little bit from their last loss against Sydney, but they won't get over the line.
Yeah, I think 1-10. I don't think that anybody, well, I shouldn't say no one's going to blow out Adelaide, but I don't think Sydney's going to blow them out 1-10 as well. What's up next? It's, who you got?
Perth at New Zealand. So 2 games for New Zealand. This is a really important weekend for them, and I'm actually going to tip them. I think they can take care of Perth down there. 1-10. Going to be a great game. And these are the sort of games that New Zealand are going to have to win early in the season if they're going to be able to make the playoffs.
We disagree on one here.
Okay, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, we disagree. Perth Wildcats, they need to get one on the road. There's almost unbeatable. Well, don't tell the Cairns Taipans that. Almost unbeatable at home, but I think they're going to get this tough one on the road. The Brisbane Bullets at the Illawarra Hawks. Well, Plenty of gossip going on down in the gong. You know what they call the gong? God's waiting room. Or maybe that's the Central Coast. I'm not sure. But those seaside cities.
You don't know what they call. I'm going to go with Brisbane.
I live there.
Well, you were confused of where it was.
There's what? God's waiting room.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Brisbane, mate. I'm going to go for Brisbane because there's a lot of turmoil going on at Illawarra. And Brisbane have only beaten Illawarra and Cairns. So they're going to be desperate to get on the board. And I will go with them. I'm going to go 11+. I think they'll get their confidence up down there.
I think 11+. I think Wollongong's in a world of hurt right now. A lot of turmoil. They can either come out, shoot. Well, if they shoot the ball well, anything can happen. But I got to agree with you.
They had better energy, though, on Sunday against Perth. They came out with better intent. They were playing for Matt Flynn.
Okay, the Sydney Kings at Melbourne United on Monday.
Without Casey Prather, I'm going to go the Sydney Kings 1-10. If Casey Prather was playing and gets a little bit of time, I reckon that game would be a lot closer. But that's going to be a good battle anyway. Melbourne United are going to be very much looking forward to trying to get that one against the undefeated Sydney Kings.
Okay, and we got to have the camera searching around for Casey Prather, see if he has those sunglasses on.
Or anyone else trying to do the same.
All right. Well, there's a lot of cool guys wearing sunglasses on the sideline at NBA games. The Unibet game preview. We got some good NBA games that we're talking about. Both teams 2-0. The Dallas Mavericks at Denver Nuggets.
Well, Dallas did lose one. I watched it today. They are really good. This NBA season is really exciting to me.
What do you do during the day?
Not much. I watch a lot of NBA.
I know.
I send a lot of videos for Unibet, and now I just study basketball.
All right. Living the dream, man.
Yeah, and they're good. This season's so good because it's open for the first time. Golden State aren't like short price favourite to win the whole thing.
Dallas
are exciting. They are terrible.
They're terrible. That's the worst defensive team I've seen.
Terrible.
That James Harden ought to play for them. They don't look interested at all.
I love the combination of Doncic and the big fella. Kazingas?
Yeah.
Did you say his name?
I know.
Yeah,
those two white boys can't go.
But I'm going to go Denver, 1-10.
All right. Okay. Milwaukee Bucks at Boston.
Well, Milwaukee have started on fire as well, and they're one of the favourites in the East. But I'm going to go Boston. I really like the way they play. Play a lot of small ball, really agile on the outside, a lot of aggressive players there. And I'm going to pick them for a bit of an upset. I reckon they'll be underdogs 1-10.
Yep. And the clip show, I agree, because I was thinking about the next game. So I'll just agree with you because I wasn't really listening. The clip show take their basketball, their defensive prowess to Utah Jazz. And the Utah Jazz, everybody was like, ooh, my surprise team. They're no longer a surprise. That team loaded up in the offseason.
Yeah, they're great. Been a bit of a struggle for Connolly from the field. He went 1 from 19 the other day from the field. Unbelievable. I love him as a player. Really good fit for them. But the Clippers are really impressive. For me, they're the title favourites right now. They've got so many great pieces to that puzzle, and still with Paul George out. But I'm going to tip them to beat Utah 1-10.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have right now. And Shane,
we're done already?
Yeah, we're done already. We're just cruising through this thing. We're doing, I think the show's going live on a podcast.
Heard all about
maybe
it.
It's not live.
Yeah. That's good. Good news.
Yeah. All right.
Is that it? You're going to wrap this thing up?
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for the basketball show. Whether you're just watching it at 7 o'clock all around Australia, the basketball show, TBS. That's all we have. That's Shane Hill. I'm Steve Carfino. We'll see you next time.
This is a co-production by News Corp Australia and Closer Sports.